Hello friends, in this video, we are going to discuss about the heap sort algorithm. So let us see how to perform heap sort. In the previous video, we have learned the build heap procedure which will arrange all the elements based on the max heap property. At the end of the build heap procedure, the maximum value element will be present at the root, that is at index 0 in the array, just as in this example. To sort a set of elements using heap sort algorithm, first we have to call this build heap procedure which will create a max heap. Now the next step is to swap the first and last elements of the array. Now the largest element will be present at the end of the array. So this element is now at its correct sorted position. So one element, that is the last element, is sorted now. And we only need to sort the remaining elements. So we can reduce the array size by 1. Since we did a swapping at index 0, there is a chance that the heap property is violated. So we have to check it again, and if it is not in the correct order, swap and continue the heapify process. Here it is violated, so heapify it. So again we will get a heap tree and the corresponding array. Now again the maximum value will be at the root of the tree or at index 0 in the array. So again swap first and last elements so that maximum value reaches the last position, which is its correct position. So one more element is sorted now. So reduce the size of array by 1 and continue this process until all the elements are sorted. So in each iteration, one element is getting sorted. So this is how heap sort algorithm works. In each iteration, the maximum element reaches its correct position and is getting sorted. Now let us see the heap sort algorithm. So this is the procedure. The first step is calling the build heap function to heapify the array. Then we have to do 3 steps. First, swap first and last elements so that the maximum element reaches its correct position. The second step is to reduce the size by 1 since one element is sorted. And the third step is to check heapify order from index 0. And this should be continued till size becomes 0. That is, till all the elements are sorted. So in each iteration, one element will be sorted. So at the end, all the elements will be in sorted order. Now let us understand how the algorithm works. For example, take this array of size 6. This build heap function has already arranged all the elements in the correct order. Let us focus on how heap sort works. So we have this while loop which will sort all the elements. In the first iteration, the condition is okay since size is equal to 6. So swap first and last elements, that is elements at index 0 and index 6. And 50 is at first position. The element 80 is at correct sorted position now. So we do not need to consider it again and we only need to sort the remaining elements. So reduce the array size by 1. So size equal to 5 now. Since we changed the element at index 0, we have to check if the heap property is violated. And if it is violated, it should be corrected. So call the heapify function at index 0. And see here, 60 is greater than 50. So these will be swapped. And the other elements are okay. So that is done. Now, one iteration is completed and one element, that is 80, is sorted now. In the next iteration, condition is still okay since size is equal to 5, which is greater than 0. So swap elements at index 0 and index 5. Now, the largest element 60 is at last position and 40 is at first position. Since 60 is now at its actual sorted position, we do not need to consider it anymore. So reduce the array size by 1. So size is equal to 4 now. And since we performed a swap operation at index 0, we have to check if the heap property is violated. So call heapify function at index 0. And see here, 50 is greater than 40. So this will be swapped. And that is also done. And the second iteration is also completed now and one more element, that is 60, is sorted. In the next iteration, condition is still satisfied since size is equal to 4. So swap elements at index 0 and index 4. Now the largest element 50 is at last position and 20 is at the first position. Now 50 is sorted. So reduce the array size by 1. So size is equal to 3 now. And since we changed the element at index 0, we have to check if the heap property is violated. So call the heapify function at index 0. And see here, 40 is greater than 20. So these elements will be swapped. So heapify process is completed. Now the third iteration is also completed and 3 elements which are 80, 60 and 50 are sorted now. In the next iteration, the condition is still satisfied since size is equal to 3 which is greater than 0. So swap elements at index 0 and index 3. Now the largest element 40 is at the last position and 10 is at the first position. So 40 is at its right position, so reduce the array size by 1. So size is equal to 2 now. And since we changed the element at index 0, we have to call heapify function at the same position and see here 30 is greater than 10. So these will be swapped. So that is done. Now the fourth iteration is also completed and one more element, that is 40, is sorted now. In the next iteration, the condition is still okay since size is equal to 2 now. So swap elements at index 0 and index 2. Now the largest element 30 is at the last position. Now 30 is at sorted position, so reduce the array size by 1. So size is equal to 1 now. Since we changed the element at index 0, we have to call heapify function, but there are no problems. This iteration is also completed now. And in the next iteration, condition is still okay since size is equal to 1 which is greater than 0. So swap elements at index 0 and index 1. Now the largest element 20 is at last position which is its right position and 10 is at the first position. Since 20 is sorted now, we can reduce the array size by 1. So size is equal to 0 now. And since we performed a swap operation at index 0, we have to call heapify function here. But there are no issues and this is completed, and the sixth iteration is also completed now and we got 6 elements sorted. Now in the next iteration of the while loop, the condition fails since size is equal to 0. And there is only one element left here which must be the smallest element and it is at its correct position too. So the sorting is now completed. So this is how heap sort algorithm works.